All right, so next up, I'm personally very excited to see this presentation. The Electrum wallet is a very popular one. We have the founder, Thomas Voegtlin, to present on Lightning in Electrum. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. So I'm going to talk about Lightning integration in Electrum. Recently, I announced that we merged the Lightning branch into master, and some people keep asking me, have you released yet? No. So we haven't released, and I just announced that it's going part of the next release, but there is no ETA, so I just wanted to answer this question preemptively. So I'm Thomas Voegtlin. You have my PGP key here, and you can also find the slides online. So yeah, this Lightning branch has been, we have been three people working on it for a while. It's been implemented by Janus Trolsen, Somber Knight, aka Ghost43, and myself. And now we have decided to merge it into master because we believe that it has reached a state where we would like to have feedback from other people, from developers. So especially if you're a Python developer, I'm going to try to convince you to contribute to our project. So Electrum is quite an old project. It's one of the oldest Bitcoin wallets that are around. The first release was in November 2011. At that time, I don't know if you know about the history of Bitcoin that year, but there was not so many wallets around. You had to choose between running core and using online services. And there was a website called mybitcoin.com that was a custodian wallet that was run by an anonymous person. And so it was a recipe for disaster, and the disaster happened. So the person that was running this website one day announced, it was really huge. I mean, in terms of Bitcoin, I think they lost more Bitcoins than Mt. Gox. But at that time, the Bitcoin price was not so high, so okay. People might think that Mt. Gox actually was higher because of that. So the owner announced that the website had been hacked, and then he said that 51% of the Bitcoins had been stolen. And that's funny, because if you think about it, 51% is a nice number, because he announced, I'm going to reopen the website so that you can withdraw, each user will be able to withdraw the 49% that remains. And of course, when he did that, that was a big mess on the blockchain. So it's a perfect way to cover your tracks if you're the thief. So some people believe that this person actually was the thief. Nobody knows. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. So because of that, I decided to, okay, at that time I had a few scripts. I didn't have the plan to create a wallet, but I was playing with Bitcoin in order to learn how it works. So I had already a few scripts, and then I decided to release Electrum because I thought there has to be something better than the choice between Bitcoin Core and a fully custodian website. So Electrum is fast and light, like a website, because it uses a client-server architecture. But you own the key. It's deterministic, so you can actually, you can restore from 12 words. Electrum was the first wallet to have this feature. And you do not trust the server because it's using SPV. Yeah, okay. So my point is that, of course, it's better to run a full node. Everybody agrees on that. However, you cannot expect everybody to run a full node. What users want is they want to be able to access their money instantly. And the security of Bitcoin, in the end, depends on the hash rate. And the hash rate is dictated by the price, not the other way around. I mean, if you believe that the price of Bitcoin is high because it's difficult to mine, okay, we can have a conversation later, but I don't agree. I mean, you are thinking wrong. It's the other way around. So a high price requires a large user base, And the best way to have a large user base is to satisfy the need of users. So our goal with Electrum is to make a light client as safe as possible, but by light client I mean non-custodial, so that you own the keys. And of course we have to compete with websites that are custodian. Okay, so now that we have Lightning, we have a set of new constraints with developing Lightning wallets, because everybody knows that, so channels cannot be restored from the seed. We have routing and liquidity. You need to watch your own channels, and you need to be online in order to receive payments. So if you use a custodian Lightning wallet, of course you don't have all of these issues, because they can take care of all this for you. And this puts us, non-custodian wallet, in a much more difficult position if we want to compete with them. But nevertheless, this is what we want to do, because I believe in non-custodian wallet. So we have been implementing this Lightning version in Python. So except for libsecp, it's pure Python. It's based on async.io, and so the development actually started 18 months ago. I didn't know it would take us so much time. I should say 2 years ago, because initially, 2 years ago, we tried to integrate with either C Lightning or LND, and after 6 months, we decided it would be better to actually write the whole stuff ourselves, because of interfacing difficulties, and also because it's more motivating for developers. So the Lightning branch was merged only 1 month ago, and yeah, I already say that, but I announced it even later, because after we merged it into master, I also wanted to do some cleanup before announcing that it had been merged. So Lightning code is approximately 1/4 of Electrum's code. I don't know if you can see that, but all the files that starts with LN are about Lightning. Except for channel.db, yeah, that's an exception. So this is the code overview for the core of Electrum, not the GUI. Electrum has multiple GUIs. We have a GUI for the desktop that is very popular, but we also have a GUI for mobile that uses Kiwi. Okay, so model overview. Electrum servers are used for the blockchain, for everything that is on-chain. So in that respect, it is very similar to Eclair and to other Lightning wallets that use Electrum servers, or that use a server of their company. The Electrum servers, they are only used for on-chain. We did not, okay, we added a few RPCs for Lightning, but we don't, the Electrum servers do not interact with the Lightning network. As far as Lightning is concerned, everything happens in the client. We have the issue that Electrum servers can lie by omission. They cannot make things up, as in create transactions that do not exist because of SPV, but they can lie to you about the state of your channel if your channel has been closed. And so this has not been an issue before Lightning, but for Lightning, of course, we actually are vulnerable to that, and we need to address that. So the picture of the right, I mean, I don't know if I like this picture. It's a Spanish, I forgot his name, a theologian that decided that lying by omission is not a sin. Asquilveda, I believe is his name. Yeah, Google it. How did we, okay. In the Electrum client, you have one node ID per wallet. All the channels are private, at least at the moment, and we do not route payments. And the gossip is independent from the wallet. So you have a separate node ID for the gossip. Every time you open a wallet window, if Lightning is enabled in this wallet, you will have a separate node ID. And you will establish independent connections in every of your wallets. We also implemented a watchtower, because we cannot expect users to be online. And so this kind of watchtower that we have uses pre-signed transactions. It also, yeah, I will talk about that later, but it's not using the encrypted blob with half of the transaction ID. It actually knows you. So it's a private watchtower that you can set up yourself. So this is how the GUI looks like. Yeah. So you have is there? Okay. You have a new icon on the bottom with a little lightning icon. It gives you the status of the network, how many channels you have. No, sorry, how many channels you have in your database. These are not your channels. You also have a special tab for your own channels. And all the lightning transactions are with this lightning icon. As you can see, I'm a big fan of Satoshi's place, at least when it comes to testing. So this is the send tab. It's exactly the same as you are familiar with if you already use Electrum. And this is the receive tab. So invoices can either be on-chain or Lightning, so you have two buttons. You click either whether you want to be paid on-chain or on Lightning. And in your preferences, you can set up a watchtower this way. So you have if you want to run a watchtower, if you want to be the client of watchtower, that's a different setting. But if you want to run a watchtower, you have to have a SSL certificate. And then you specify the port where you want to run and the domain name of your watchtower. And it's doing this over HTTP. This is your channels tab. So you can see the status of your channels. And now we have the mobile GUI, which replicates the desktop GUI. So as you can see, the history that is there is exactly the same as before. I'm just running the same wallet with a different GUI. So you have history, send, receive, your list of channels, and that's it. Yeah, I did not display the watchtower thing because it's not actually done yet. But yeah, I just wanted to say a few words about watchtowers. So like I said before, there are multiple models of watchtowers, and this idea that the watchtower is going to store your data forever, I don't believe in it. So I believe that either you have a watchtower that knows you and you pay them to keep your data, or you run your own watchtower. So this is what I call a private watchtower, and the public watchtower is this crypto-anarchist vision where you have a bunch of watchtowers and you just send them transactions, and they are supposed to get rewarded if there is a breach. So it has okay, I don't like the incentive model and with the public watchtower. And I also don't think that they can really realistically store your states forever. So this is why we implemented a private watchtower that knows you. So it means that you have actually, they know, they can actually read your transactions. And the initial plan was to run this watchtower service in our company. But since the data requirement is so high, we will not do it for the moment. We're probably going to wait for L2. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to talk. Yeah. No, this slide is about breach remedy from the watchtower. Yeah. So the watchtower, I just wanted to say, is that. It only redeems the CSV outputs because all the rest can be done by your wallet. In addition to the GUI, we have a CLI in Electrum. And so here on those slides, if you're using internet, you can actually do this. It works. This is how you can set up two daemons, Alice and Bob, and you can test the breach remedy. So it works on regtest. And you create wallets for Alice and Bob. There is a command called init lightning, which is going to create lightning keys for your wallet. If you don't do this, you don't have a lightning wallet. And you can also do it from the GUI, of course. And then Bob is a listening node, so we set up the port where Bob is listening and the host name. Once we have done that, we start Alice and Bob as daemons, and then Alice is going to pay Bob. So it generates an invoice, and then okay, first we open the channel and we mine a few blobs. Then Bob generates an invoice, and Alice pays that invoice. So that's the two lines at the bottom. And once you have done that, you can actually perform a breach. So let's say you're Alice. Alice can store the commitment transaction at that point, and then she pays Bob again. So the first command on the top is how Alice can extract the commitment transaction. Then Alice pays another invoice to Bob, and on the third row, Alice is going to broadcast the old commitment transaction. So if you want to know what happens next, you can run that script. It's one of our unit tests, so the Python command on the bottom is running exactly what I said, and it's we have a batteries of tests in order to ensure that everything works. Yeah. So I'm really targeting you as a developer if you want to contribute to our project. Okay. The last thing I wanted to say is how you can set up a watchtower with the CLI. So you just set a config host name and port like in the GUI, and then you have your own private watchtower. That's what is shown here. So Carol here is the watchtower. If you run a watchtower, you don't need to have. Carol doesn't need to be a Lightning node. I mean, she just watches the blockchain. So that's why there is no init blockchain, sorry, init Lightning command for Carol here, because she is purely. She is a simple Electrum wallet that is watching the blockchain. That's all. Okay. Thank you for your attention. I have a few minutes for questions, I guess.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for your talk. It's very interesting and looking forward to try Lightning in Electrum. I would like to know if it's only the Electrum X Electrum server implementation will be able to supply the necessary information for Lightning.
Yeah, this is a very good question. I should have done a slide about this actually. So there is something called Electrum Personal Server that is quite popular, and it's not going to work with Lightning. The reason is that with this Electrum Personal Server, you need to configure it with your master public key, and then it scans the blockchain. So actually, EPS, Electrum Personal Server, is really, in the mind of a lot of users, is something better for privacy than the public Electrum server. But that's not true. If you decide to run your own server, you have full privacy with Electrum. You have less privacy, of course, if you use the public network of Electrum servers, but as soon as you decide to run a full node, you can decide to have your own Electrum X or Electrum RS, and then you will have full privacy. So Electrum Personal Server is actually using less resources, but it's not more private, okay? The reason why Electrum Personal Server is not going to work with Lightning, unless they do something about it, but I don't know how they could fix that. You configure EPS with your master public key, and then it scans the blockchain for your addresses. But it cannot do that for the channels because they don't depend on your XPub. So there is no way that you could have a Lightning wallet working with EPS. I believe Electrum Rust server will work. I just have not tested it because I usually use Electrum X. And the reason is that I'm a Python developer, so when I need to have something patched into Electrum X, I know how to do it. I don't know how to do it for Electrum errors, but I believe Electrum errors would work too, yes. Okay. Any more questions? Can't see. I can't see any questions. Okay. Yeah.
I was wondering about this earlier in another conversation, but are you committed to this Lightning implementation long term, or are you leaving your options open? Like, it's been a great learning exercise to build this, but perhaps another implementation will work in the future?
I'm committed to it because I believe it's the future of Bitcoin. I think I said 1 year ago that if you're a wallet and you do not implement Lightning, you're going to die. And yeah.
Okay. So I set up some rabble-rousing there, but that wasn't my question. My question was more on the implementation rather than Lightning. I'm certainly bought into the Lightning observation. But this Lightning implementation specifically,
Yes.
do you think long-term that Electrum will be using this implementation, or are you leaving your options open?
I hope so. I mean, I think the more implementation, the better.
There's some downsides to having lots and lots of implementations there, right? And
well, okay, initially we thought we would integrate with one of the existing implementations, but it was very difficult because they didn't have exactly what we wanted. You saw, for example, this morning Fabrice showed this Phoenix thing. You couldn't do that if you didn't have your own implementation. So there are advantages to having your own implementation, and we plan to also offer a service where we provide inbound liquidity. We cannot predict what kind of services we are going to offer in the future, but we want to have control. And when we started to integrate with existing implementations, it very quickly we realized that we had to patch them to have them do what we want, and they are written in language that we don't understand. So that's why, I mean, we tried this approach for 6 months, and then I decided, no, let's read the balls instead. Yeah.
more questions?
Yeah, sure. All right. All right, no worries. Well, all right. Look, I think that's basically all the time. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.